Hi, I'm Shane.
And I'm Erica.
For the past 3.5 years, we've been traveling the world together.
People always ask us how we get to travel so often and go to so many places, and we want to show you how we do it. So come on this adventure with us.
We are the Nowhere Couple. Welcome back to the Worldwide Podcast. Today we will be doing our first debate and debating the age-old travel topic of what is a better seat on an airplane, either the window or the aisle.
So I'm always choosing the window seat, and Shane is always choosing the aisle seat, and for different but good reasons. So we hope by the end of this podcast, we could maybe sway you a little bit, or we would like to hear if you have any additional thoughts as to which one is better.
Yeah, most people we know either have one decided already. They're always one or the other. So we want to know what seat you always like to be, and then also if we've changed your opinion at all. And today we also have a pretty special guest joining us for the recording of this episode.
So this is my family dog, Zoe. She's just visiting us for the weekend because she's, we are so close. So we thought it would just be fun to include her.
I'm glad to have her here. So I'm gearing up on coffee because I need to bring it for this episode, especially with the debate. So I guess you want to just hop right into it. You could go first. I mean, why the window? I'll ask.
So just straight off the bat, I like the window the best because I am very introverted and I really enjoy and kind of need my privacy. And being able to lean on the window and cuddle up against the window, that just gives that privacy to me. Whereas instead of the aisle seat is more accessible. You have people climbing over you sometimes.
I mean, say what you want, but I feel like you don't always have to have people climbing over you. It's very easy to just step into the aisle, which is, my first point is aisle access is the biggest, obviously, plus of the aisle seat. I mean, being able to get up whenever you want, especially on a really long flight, is a major plus. And then as well as having the access to the bathroom whenever you need it. Somebody like me, who, number one, would be out there passing out drinks with the flight attendants if I could, who has to go to the bathroom every 45 minutes on a flight, at least once an hour. And then also just needing to stretch. I feel like on airplanes, my legs get fairly cramped most of the time. So being able to just get up whenever I want is the main reason I like the aisle seat. The aisle access is really what it comes down to for me.
See, whereas you like to get up a lot, walk a lot, go to the bathroom a lot, I like to just kind of plant myself and sleep. Like I mentioned, I like to lay against the wall and I have my neck pillow. I like to use the blanket if they provide that. And I just like to cuddle up, stay there, sleep for most of the flight, and get up as minimally as I possibly can.
Yeah, but how many people do you think lean up on that wall?
I think a lot. So it definitely is probably dirty, but that's why, I disinfect those seats. I have Lysol wipes of my own, and lately because of COVID, they've been giving out those Lysol wipes, so that helps. But
yeah, for me, I understand why people like to lean on the wall, but for me, I feel kind of cramped, when I have a wall on one side of me and then a person who I may not know on the other side of me. I feel like I'm so in tight and I rely on that wall too much. And I don't like that. So what I do like about the aisle is you said you use your neck pillow, where I almost never use a neck pillow. I have that, the in-seat headrest, basically. And I will always use that. And being able to have, first off, a little bit more space to extend my legs. And then being able to use that headrest to kind of lock my head in position or one way or the other, which is what I like to do, that it's equally, if not more, comfortable. Plus, having a complete open side makes things amazing when it comes down to space. And also something that I find to be a plus is the overhead bin access. So personally, I do not put a bag under the seat in front of me because I need the leg room most of the time anyway. So as you can imagine, but it comes down to that I could just get right up and grab everything that I need. Really, really easy. It's not like being on the window. If you forget something on the window, then you have to inconvenience two other people, get up, and then do it again on the way back in. Whereas I just am right there.
See, I take my suitcase and I put it in the overhead bin. And then I also take a small bag with the things that I would like, such as a book, headphones, my phone, and I keep that below the seat in front of me. But why do you not take a small bag and put that in the seat in front of you? Is that under the seat in front of you? Is that because you need that extra space?
It's because I would like the legroom. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And plus,
Yeah.
it's so easy for the person on the aisle to just stand right up and turn 180 degrees and just grab whatever you need right out of the bin.
But you don't feel like that could be inconveniencing others because then you might be leaning over someone else in the aisle, or I mean, I know you're tall, but then you kind of have to reach up, and if you have people sleeping in the aisle seats around you, that may disrupt them a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, for somebody who's been doing it as long as I have, I feel like no. I can kind of rebuttal that with, I kind of know how to do it, in a pretty quick and quiet fashion. And we usually try to board early enough, either in a premium economy seat or because we have status, we get to board earlier. So it's usually really easy to just get the bag directly above my seat, so that I'm not disrupting anybody else. I'm not asking anybody else to move their stuff or whatever. It's just right there for me. I will, however, say you do probably have the best positive out of all of this, though.
The window. That is most of the point of the window seat. Yeah. I really like having control of the window shade, being able to open it and close it when I want. And I especially love all of the views that come with the window. When we take off, I love to see kind of, the layout grid of the airport and then also of the city. I mean, I'm an architect at heart. I've been, designing and doodling things my whole life. And then that's also what I'm studying and what my job is. So I really love being able to see cities in that perspective. And I always, play a little game with myself, like, oh, in the, neighborhoods that we see, which house would I live in, which buildings would I go to? I really enjoy that.
I mean, it's obviously a great positive for you.
And then also the views that come, with all the landscapes that we fly over. When we flew from New York to LA, we fly over the mountains, and then even the night sky over the Atlantic Ocean coming home from Europe. It's beautiful, and those are views that you can't find anywhere else except in the window seat of a plane.
So I'll argue, what about the lack there of a view sometimes? So like you said, flying home from Europe or flying to Europe, a lot of the time, I don't want to say it's not up to you what you do with the shade, but you do have to judge what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, I have to read the room, read the plane a little bit. If I'm flying home during the day and it's light out, but everybody is sleeping and they have the lights dimmed, I don't want to be that guy that opens up the window shade and blinds everybody, especially myself.
Blinding. It is blinding.
Yeah. The sunshine coming in and then oftentimes reflecting off of the wing of the plane makes it even worse.
Oh, God.
But I think in that case, I would be sleeping, though. I mean, I really enjoy the window seat because I'm able to snuggle up and sleep. So I don't think I would have the window shade open in a sleeping type of flight anyway.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. So I will say, though, that is the benefit of having it during maybe the 30 minutes of takeoff and the 30 minutes of landing worth, for me, is it worth the discomfort? And the answer for me is no.
I'm not uncomfortable, and we are clearly different size people. I mean, I'm a, 5'4" small size person. So I'm not too cramped up against the window. And even with my bag under the seat in front of me, my feet don't even extend to that length. So I'm comfortable in that.
Sometimes whereas I feel if I fully extend my legs that I can feel the person's feet in front of me. I feel like sometimes.
I bet they don't like that.
No, they definitely don't. And but I just feel like with the views, I mean, it's nice. And I think we've said this before, but the one time that I really appreciated having the window view was flying from New York to LA because we flew over the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was spectacular. And I feel like I can confidently speak for us both when I say that now that we flew over the Grand Canyon and saw pretty much all of it, we don't feel the need to visit. So
I mean,
there's a one time for everything, and that was the one time.
Maybe when we're older, but definitely not right now.
Yeah.
Definitely not anytime soon. It was really cool. And there are a lot of unique things that you get to see out of an airplane window. But I will say most of the time we're flying over an ocean.
But yeah, most of the time. But then the night sky that comes along with it. I mean, imagine, and you've seen it, but the night sky above a pitch black ocean, those stars just unbelievable.
It is.
So bright, so beautiful. Again, like we live close to New York City, so we do not get that beautiful night sky at home at all.
No, no, never. I don't think we've ever. I mean, Australia and stuff, like places we visited, we've seen really cool stars, but never at home.
Yeah.
I feel like the only time maybe we saw cool stars was when there's like massive power outages, which is like so sad to say, but like Hurricane Sandy,
Yeah.
as terrible as it was, did offer some unique perspectives of the sky.
Well, I hope to never experience that ever again.
True.
So
Very, very, very true.
that was horrible.
So it is hard to rebuttal having the window seat. I mean, the window in general.
The
but,
views of the window.
you know, like you said, you like to be in control of the window shade, but as you kind of just said, you're not actually always in control of it. Like you were saying, I mean, flying home from Europe, I feel like the flights are usually, we'll say early afternoon, but most of the time people are looking to just keep the shade closed, watch some TV, maybe nap a little. I mean, it is a relatively long flight where people just kind of want to relax, and the sun is very distracting. And although you have the entire right to open up that window and do whatever you want, only like one or two people do it.
So do you feel like you can fully relax and sleep if you want to with the middle seat and the window seat climbing over you? Because sometimes you have to get up, move everything that you have on the table folded down, hold them. You know, that seems like an inconvenience.
Well, all right.
Whereas I can just kind of get out when I need to and ask my neighbor, "Hey, would you mind if I go to the bathroom?" Because it's difficult for them to say, "No, you can't go to the bathroom."
Well, the way that I feel is unless I'm next to you, nobody's going to really wake me up. Which, I mean, sometimes I get they just have to. But generally speaking, if you see me sleeping, I feel like you would just climb right over me and not really even ask, which is fine.
True.
And I guess it kind of depends on the airplane, too. So if you're on a wide-body airplane that has the two seats on the window and it's just the window in the aisle, it makes it so much easier because it's just you and I.
That's the perfect layout,
That is
I will
the perfect
say.
scenario. But there are wide-body airplanes and then the narrow-body aircraft that are just three across from the window. So in that scenario, I feel like it's very uncommon and uncomfortable to have to get up. Like, what I mean is, for me, I just have to grab my things and stand in the aisle, essentially. It's not like I'm in the middle or in the window and I have to go across then multiple seats. You know, you're saying that it's inconvenient for me, but I'm up and right back down. You know, I could grab my things off the tray table, take one step, and I'm out of the way.
But
I don't have to scoot across multiple seats.
For me, though, the scooting isn't so difficult, especially because you are supposed to keep the feet section clear, and then I can just lift the armrest if I need to, and then just slide. That's
Well,
not
you're
so
making
much
it
of an
inconvenient
inconvenient.
for everybody else. I know
That's
for
not
you, it might
inconvenient
not.
for me, but you just admitted that is inconvenient for you, though, to have to get up and have people slide over your seat. No?
Well, all right. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's inconvenient to have to get up, but it isn't difficult to get up. Is kind of the point that I'm making. I'm certainly not in no middle seat, but I just mean from your point of view, because you also have to carry all your stuff. Then, if you're going to throw things out, I mean, another positive of being in the aisle is the flight attendants and everybody walk right by. It's so easy for me to ask for something, get somebody's attention, throw something away when they're walking by. I don't have to reach over anybody. It's just.
But then
Back to
sometimes you can be caught in between. Like especially if you're sleeping, if the flight attendant and the window person have a conversation, or if I'm getting passed a drink or food, you kind of have to lean back and be caught in between as that interaction is happening.
Well,
and that seems uncomfortable.
If I'm
to me.
noise canceling headphones on and my eyes are closed, it doesn't make a difference to me.
Well, you're lucky to have noise canceling headphones. I mean, I don't feel like everyone has that luxury.
No, but if you are wearing headphones in general, I'll say you're probably not going to be distracted by a flight attendant conversation with somebody next to you. It's usually not that loud. And if you're truly asleep, like, you don't notice these things. Mm-hmm. And it's easier to fall asleep, in my opinion, in the aisle than on the window. So you're not going to have that kind of trouble. But back to the flight attendants, I think when it comes to getting food and everything, especially on Delta, the anytime snacks, I mean, you may only get up when other people get up from the window, but I could get up and grab snacks and drinks from the back of the plane on Delta whenever I want. And I know you're a snacky person too, so you don't feel like you're at a loss sitting on the window? You feel like you're not missing out on those at all?
No, not at all. I'm the type of person to buy snacks at the gate and then take those onto
Such
the
a
plane.
mom.
I am, that's my life goal. So what can I say? I'm the type to buy snacks at the gate, take those on the plane, especially because if I know I will be cuddled up at the window seat, I'm not going to want to get up and inconvenience, everybody else.
So you would
And
rather spend more money at the airport than take the free snacks.
well, if I'm spending hundreds of dollars on a flight and, a traveling anyway, an extra $10 on a bag of Cheez-Its, as silly as it sounds, that's not really gonna break my travel budget.
All right. I mean, again, some people may feel differently about that.
Of
And
course.
if an airplane is handing out free Cheez-Its, why wouldn't you take the free version? That's all I'm saying.
Because it's more inconvenient to have to get up.
Oh, there you go.
To have you get up.
Well, I'll be up 20 times getting those snacks. I mean, coming back from Italy, they were like, no, you can't have any
Yeah,
more.
they cut you off.
I was like, I was grabbing them for you and my mom, and they were like,
But I did have snacks in my bag that I was comfortable having and that I was having.
I think they thought I was eating like 5 at a time, but in reality, I was grabbing them for you. I
You
was
were
grabbing
eating.
them for you, though. I don't know. I was watching a movie. I needed some snacks.
Uh-huh.
But like you said, it is inconvenient for you to have to get up unless other people are already up. And as you say, being introverted, I don't know if anybody else who sits on the window is introverted, but it's probably harder for you to ask other people to get up. So you just kind of have to wait on it to happen.
Well, I like to plan on not getting up. I mean, like I've mentioned on past podcasts, I'm always dehydrated when we fly. So, even as much water as I drink, I don't need to go to the bathroom because it's like my body is so dehydrated and I just need it. So I really don't have to get up and go to the bathroom. And then if I have my own snacks, then I'm just eating in my seat and then that's kind of it. And then also I don't have to wait on the flight attendant to come pass out the snacks, all of that. I don't have to wait, until you get up to be able to get out. I'm just good. I'm controlling my own destiny, I feel like, at that point.
All right. So, debate within a debate, though. Are you chicken or pasta meal?
Always pasta. If I'm being honest, I do not trust airline meat. I mean, maybe it's because
Definitely not fish.
I was a vegetarian for 10 years, so my opinion may be a little biased against the meat, but pasta is always
unless they were out of the pasta. The Delta always internationally has a ravioli, and I love it.
chef's kiss.
And especially coming back from Italy, the catering was really good. Mm-hmm. The food was actually delicious. All right, back to the topic though. So you're saying though that you wouldn't get up. So what if we're flying to Australia, 15-hour flight? You've no interest in stretching?
I would like to stretch, yeah, maybe walk up and down the aisle a few times, but I could just do that on a 15-hour flight. I will have to go to the bathroom once or twice, but I can just do that when you get up and then stretch then and be good.
I guess fortunately I am up often. So I feel like that kind of negates a lot of kind of the points that I'm trying to make because I'm out of my seat.
Yeah, if you get up once each hour, well then I have 15 opportunities to get up and then it's not such a big deal.
And that is what I like to do. I do like to try to get up every hour. I mean, unless I'm sleeping, but to get up and I mean, this is just something everybody should do on a 15-hour flight is get up, just keep the legs moving. It's really not healthy to sit that long. And your body's already going through enough with jet lag and everything that the last thing you need is to cause, I think they say like sitting causes blood clots and stuff in your legs. And that's definitely the last thing that you need when you're trying to enjoy a vacation. So I try to get up on the wide body planes, which I feel like you would only fly on a 15-hour flight. They have those like middle areas that are open by the bathrooms that I feel they're like made for crossing between each aisle. But what I do is I just go, I stretch, get the knees up, get the legs going, stretch my back out. And I feel like that's really, really important to be able to do that whenever I want on such a long flight. I mean, for me, again, feeling like my legs get pretty cramped up, like, sometimes even when I don't put a bag down there, which is almost always, I feel like I never have enough room unless we're in business class, but that's a totally different argument. But I feel like I'll never have enough leg room.
I mean, you feel that way even at home, the way you do simple things like sitting on the couch or sleep in the bed, you stretch out as much as you can. But I guess just being, a tall person, that's just inevitable.
Exactly. And airplanes were not designed for tall people. So being able to get up when I want and I feel like my legs are ready to move around is, I feel like, such a key for the aisle seat. It's If you're somebody who feels like you're taller, which you would probably want to try to get the aisle anyway, you definitely need to get up as much as you can during a flight. So I feel like doing it when I want to rather than when somebody else wants to makes my life so much easier. And so another point is getting on and off the plane. I feel like it's easier to be in the aisle. So as I said, you get to, with how we board, at least in my opinion, I'm able to get my bag right above my seat, which is really easy then throughout the flight. And then when it comes to getting off, it's the same thing. I stand up, my bag's right there, I'm on my way.
See, the way I do it is I put my suitcase up. Usually I try to put it up a seat in front of me so then that when I do get off, I'm just able to take a step up and pull it off and then go. But I feel like I have it more convenient getting on the plane because I'm able to just put my bag up, sit down, and then that's it. In the aisle seat, you kind of maybe have to lean if you have people reaching, passing by, big bags, on the shoulders, all of that. And then maybe you don't mind, but I kind of do because I'm a shy person. But people ask you oftentimes to help them lift the bags, and that would just bother me to a small extent. It's not such a big deal. I'd be happy to help if someone asked, but it's a little bit inconvenient for me, whereas you might have to get up a few times, even just boarding the plane alone.
All right. I think that that almost covers all the window in the aisle. I mean, do any of us have an argument for the middle?
I think the only positive about the middle seat is if you have a family.
When it's empty.
Yeah, that's when it's like perfect. That's its actual true only benefit. But I would say if you have a family or a large group of people flying, obviously if you all want to be together instead of split up. I mean, I know with my family, with the 3 siblings and then my mom and dad all flying together, my mom, she would always take the middle seat, and I don't think that she exactly wanted to because it is uncomfortable, but she's a very good mom, a very nice lady. So she just wanted to separate my brother and I, because if he and I sat together on a plane, he would be pulling my hair, pinching me, so I guess maybe the only benefit to the middle seat is if you have mean siblings. Thanks, Kevin.
So on some of my longer flights when I was a kid, my youngest brother would not come with us yet because he was a little young to be flying to Europe. So my mom, my dad, and my other brother would sit all together in the middle, and then I would be on the aisle alone with the strangers. But when I was younger, I would say I would want the window, and they would all be like, yeah, of course you can have the window. Like, right? Like, because I feel like nobody wants to be on the window. And
hello, I do.
But as a kid, it's entertaining. And I just remember that a few situations, especially going to Ireland when I was younger, that I would always ask for the window despite my parents putting me in the aisle so they could be closer to me. Mm-hmm. And I made a few people pay for that on overnight flights, though, because of how often I had to get up and stuff. Boy. And I would have to signal to my parents, and then my parents would have to reach over and wake the people up. But what can you do? I was young. But I feel like even like what you said, like if you're traveling in a group, the middle seat is still the middle seat, though. It's
always uncomfortable. You have, no control of the window, but then you also have to ask the aisle person to get up when you need to. Did you ever get stuck in an uncomfortable middle seat situation that you can recall?
I think that I toughed it out for us coming from Atlanta to JFK, coming home from Hawaii most recently. And after getting off of a 9-hour red-eye flight, that was not fun for me.
Well, I mean, when you and I fly alone and we have a middle seat situation, I always do take the middle seat because I'm the smaller between the two of us. So it's not like I'm going to ask you to sit in the middle seat while I take the comfort of the aisle or the window.
Right.
So it's nice of you that, the one time out of the 60 flights we've been on.
Well, and on top of that, I feel like the middle, I will say that there's one situation economy, the middle seat is not that bad, is where it's the wide body planes, it's 3 seats, 3 seats, 3 seats with 2 aisles. So the person on your other side, if you're sitting in the middle, the person to your left, let's say I'm on your right, that person can just get out of the aisle on their own on that other side. So nobody is disrupting us even though you're in the middle, you don't have to get up for them to get up.
Well, that's only because I know you. I know the person who's on one of the aisles. If I didn't know you and I was truly alone, stuck in the middle of the middle seat, that would be horrible. That'd be
Absolutely.
awful.
So
No benefits to that, I think.
no, I guess that would be terrible, especially like you did it to Hong Kong, you did it to Sydney, you did it home from Tokyo, but that plane was pretty empty. Um, and I think we ended up with like a row each. We like slept, which was beautiful. Poor man's business class, we call that. And so I guess speaking of business class, I think that's really the only situation a middle seat, in my opinion, is better. Whereas I do like to have the window if I have the option to be, obviously, if I have direct aisle access, having a window is just a bonus. But you normally don't sit next to somebody then. And if you're traveling as a couple or as a family, that's kind of a downside. So the middle seats on, I will say, 90% of the airlines, business class falls in a one seat, two seat, one seat layout. And the two seats in the middle frequently have cool features. They either can combine the beds, or they have cool little drop down, like we had on Delta, the divider drops all the way down. You could talk really easy. Feel like you can watch the same movie, things like that. The screens are gigantic. And you also have direct aisle access on either side. So what do you think of that? I mean, would you still want a window seat alone, or would you rather sit together in the middle?
Well, because I'm so in love with you, I would like to sit in the middle in the middle seats with you so that you and I can kind of talk. We like to watch the same shows or watch the same movies and kind of laugh together about them. While having a window seat alone with the aisle access would be phenomenal, I would choose being able to talk to you and be close to you. I think business class is for exactly that. It's built for just that, the business traveler. So usually they travel alone. So in that case, the solo window seat with the aisle makes sense. And the way you explained families, I feel like it's very uncommon, although we have seen it sometimes, it's very uncommon for a family to be in business class.
Depends, usually somebody having elite status and the whole family getting upgraded.
Well, in that case, they're all just lucky. So, like, I would take any seat in that situation.
And like we kind of said, there are some really cool business class options. So for us, the Singapore Airlines was really amazing because the beds were like almost together. And we had the option to sit on the windows. The flight attendants were like, yeah, sit wherever you want.
Because it was so empty.
It was fairly empty, and that was so cool. The Airbus A380, to be in the upper deck of a plane, sleeping in a bed together, basically, was like such a unique experience. And the flight attendants were amazing. Mm-hmm. And then we also had the front row, the bulkhead row. So the ottoman where our feet go down onto was bigger than it is in any of the other rows. So it was like a complete, like almost like a full-size bed we had together, which was amazing. And then the Q suite on Qatar or Qatar, I'm not sure the pronunciation exactly on it, Airways, they actually have, like, it actually is one bed. Like, they come, our seats were just really close together, but on the Q suite, it's they put down one mattress pad and one sheet, and it's like, it's really, really nice. And in that scenario for families, it's really cool because they have the four seats in like a box and they all face each other. So if you're a family of four, you're basically sitting in a cubicle like alone together, which is really, really cool.
I would love to be able to see that one day, to fly it one day.
Yeah. So then I guess we could end with kind of discussing how would you pick a seat on an airplane, essentially. So how can you avoid these bad seats? How can you make sure that you get a good one? And the obvious answer is just going on to the airline app or website and picking your seat in advance. And we do know that there are a lot of airlines that make you pay for the seat in advance. But would you recommend paying for a seat, or would you recommend leaving it up to whatever and getting possibly put in a middle seat?
I think it depends on the whole situation. So it depends on the cost of the flight, the length of the flight, the time of day of the flight. If it's just a quick flight, I would say within the United States, so like less than 5-6 hours, I would kind of just take any seat that's given to me. I would be okay in sitting in an uncomfortable middle seat. But if it's a flight that I know I'm going to want to sleep on, or I'm flying to Europe and I really need that night's sleep, so then the next day when we land, I could be good to go to explore, I think I would, pay a little bit of money
Yeah.
to be able to have that night's sleep.
And I know that there are also some airlines that don't let you pick your seat until you check in. So something you should look into is how early you could check in. There is some flights that are 48 hours, but most are 24 hours beforehand. Maybe, if you can't pick your flight, definitely try to check in as soon to that 24 hours as you can and select that flight or select that seat as soon as you possibly can, because like we said, the last thing you want is to get stuck in an uncomfortable middle seat on your way to Europe. As we joke, window or aisle, they're probably the better of the two options by far, unless you're traveling with 3 people. But even so, you still probably don't want to get stuck in the middle. So, I mean, any other points? Do you think you could convince anybody else that the window is better? Because I don't think you can.
I just overall think it's the comfort of, having that wall and not being bothered. But if you're someone that really likes to get up, wants to walk, wants to stretch, needs to use the bathroom because you have, too many glasses of wine on the plane, you, then maybe the aisle is more for you. But I think we would love to hear if you, as the listeners, have any additional points as to which one is better, or if we have changed your mind in any way. We would love to know.
Yeah, we would absolutely love to hear what you do. And if you have any other suggestions on, what seat is better, if we missed anything that you think is a huge plus or minus for one of those 2 seats, just let us know. And also, if you want to hear any other topics debated, I know we have a few kind of locked up, ready to go, but if you want to hear any other debates, if you have any questions, just comment under this, reach out to us. We'll be happy to debate for you or answer for you. And I think that's pretty much it. So we will wrap this up and we will see you out there.
See you out there.